A few days ago, I released a video explaining the different ways that your smart TV collects information about you and your habits and what you can do to limit or stop the monetization of your data. If you haven't seen it, you may want to check it out first. The link is at the top right of the screen. That video had over 1,800 comments, so this is a video answering the most common questions that came up, addressing some of the common themes in the posts, as well as providing a more complete list of how to disable data collection on the various brands of TVs and streaming devices. Because I'm Dad the engineer, I extracted the comments via the YouTube Data API and created a word cloud of the comments. Based on the largest grouping of the themes, here is the top 10. Number 1. I'm keeping my old TV forever, or I'm only buying dumb TVs. The first thing I found was that there were a number of people who were really into their, vintage TVs. These could be CRTs or old plasma sets or even early generation LCD TVs. The best TV I've ever owned was a $2,500, 240-pound Sony Vega KV36 XBR 400. At the time, it was a good alternative to a $10,000 plasma or even a more expensive CRT projector. Today, that TV is a relic. Though it's popular with the analog output gaming crowd, it's generally inferior to almost any modern TV. The same is true with many of the vintage sets that many of the commenters said would need to be pried from their cold dead hands. Ultimately, if you like your TV set, then use it forever. However, you should feel free to get almost any smart TV you like. If you don't want to take advantage of the connectivity related features, then don't connect it to your network. And that really applies to the second most common theme, which was that people wanted dumb TV options. Those TVs do exist. They're common in environments where you have signage, in some corporate environments, and in hospitality. These TVs tend to be a bit stripped down in terms of capabilities and connectivity. The other thing you'll notice is the price. As these sets aren't subsidized with the anticipated data and ad value streams, they cost more. In general, you're much better off just buying a smart TV and then just not connecting it to a network. There were a few people that disputed the subsidy, but the reality is that the trade of user data and in-TV presented ads is roughly 8 times the amount of profit made from the actual sale of TVs. By 2029, this soft market is forecasted to be $51 billion globally. With economics like that, it's just good business to lower the one-time acquisition price, with multiples of the reduced hardware margin coming back as recurring revenue on data. As an example, about 75% of LG's profit from TVs comes from selling data, not the TV. Number 2. When I turn something off, is it really off? The next most common theme was one around disabling settings and menus, with the general sentiment being that the on-screen interface could tell you something was turned off, but the TV could still perform the action that was supposedly disabled. While that's true, it's also kind of unlikely. You see, LG already did that, and they got fined for it. Successive fines, even for other companies, will get larger until it effectively deters the action. I'm not aware of any recent infractions. But that's not the same thing as really knowing, right? Well, for that you have people like me. I'm a skeptic, and I produce debunk content. And just like me, there are all kinds of IT and engineering professionals. We will watch and map network traffic from our devices. Then we'll disable a setting and watch what happens then. If there's no change, we write an article, create a video, or otherwise complain loudly. You have to keep in mind that while these TVs may be black boxes, they still communicate across networks that we can easily monitor. Number 3. But I heard that there were cameras in TVs. Yes, there were a lot of claims in the comments about hidden cameras in TVs. That's not a thing. You can't really hide cameras in the internals of a TV because they still have to connect to the single board computer inside somehow. Regular people take apart TVs all the time, and they would have noticed cameras. I've replaced enough backlights, control boards, capacitors, and resoldered enough input port connectors that I would have seen some by now too. Brands have experimented with this over the years in various markets. Very old Samsungs had pop-up cameras in their F-series sets, but I couldn't find current model US market TVs that had cameras built in. Various Sony Bravias, LGs, and Samsungs support optional accessory webcams. In other world markets, TCL and Huawei are brands that feature built-in cameras. So, even if someone's listening to you, at least they're not watching you. And speaking of listening to you, a lot of people were concerned about microphones eavesdropping on their conversations. It's not uncommon for far-field microphone-equipped TVs to have a hard mute switch on the TV. There are generally soft mute switches for all other microphones. If you don't trust soft mute switches, you can either disable microphones with glue or by cutting a PCB trace. Alternatively, if you don't want to do something invasive or destructive, there are usually OEM replacement remote controls that are available without microphones. 5. Don't get confused by acronyms. A couple people mentioned settings for ARC, while I was talking about ACR. ACR is the content recognition system that sends back image data of what you're watching. ARC, on the other hand, stands for Audio Return Channel. It's a feature that allows a home theater receiver or soundbar to easily integrate with your TV. So disable ACR. Generally, you should leave ARC alone. Number 6. Speaking of acronyms, many viewers requested a DNS filtering video, one about Pi-hole, Cloud DNS, and solutions like that. Well, you asked for it, and you'll get it. In case you didn't know what any of that means, DNS filtering solutions allow you to massively reduce the amount of ads and the amount of tracking that takes place on all of the devices in your house. That includes your PCs, phones, tablets, and even your TV. These solutions range from free to fairly inexpensive. You should still turn off the ad and tracking settings on your TV or streamer, but DNS filtering is a complementary piece that can drastically improve your online experience. The video will also cover how to keep devices from trying to sneak past your countermeasures. 7. Many viewers mention that they do, or intend to, use streaming sticks in lieu of the smart features on their TVs. That's fine, and even preferable in the cases of bad TV UIs or TVs that are out of update support. That said, the streaming devices have their own ad, tracking, and ACR settings to disable. Some common ones will be at the end of the video. 8. Some commenters asked why there's no open source solution to replace your TV's single board computer. There are a couple reasons for this. One is that there's generally one or more specialized chips on a TV control board that handle functions that something like a Raspberry Pi can't do by itself. The other, more insurmountable reason is something named Widevine. Widevine is a digital rights management network that decrypts streamed content. The controlled end-to-end nature of the solution means that you can't really create a truly open source solution that uses it in the way you would need to in order to create a replacement single board computer or flashable replacement operating system. Number 9. There was heated debate about Die Hard as a Christmas movie, but I'm happy to say that the majority seem to agree that it is. I don't think that that's really all that controversial. It's not like I said that Lethal Weapon was a Christmas movie, although it may be as well. Let me know in the comments. 10. And this may be the most controversial thing of all. My use of AI images. So, I'm an engineer. I'm not an artist. My use of AI imagery is apparently very upsetting to some. And to them, I say, I'm working on cutting it down to 0. But I could use some help. If anyone is interested in art duties for the channel, or in helping in any other way, please contact me. Now, the final order of business is to provide a more complete directory of the TV and streaming manufacturers, along with their ACR tracking, ad, and sensor settings. I'm going to flash them up fairly quickly, so just pause when you see yours. I'll try to put in the chapter markers that allow you to easily jump to the one you want. With that, I want to thank you for watching a comment digest edition of Dad Ruins Everything. Have a great day.